Hello there, everyone. My name is Deborah Lassiter, and I am the founder of DCL Ministries, the author of Beyond the Face of the Movies, and the radio host of Dovetails. So be sure to check me out at www.blogtalkradio.com/PJC Media. But today I want to talk with you about something that's very dear to my heart, rallying behind a cause. Sometimes we just have to get involved in things that are larger than us. Maybe it's not going to end up that we're going to benefit from it, but sometimes we really have to get involved in something that, we can contribute to. So I want to tell you a little story. I have a dear friend, a wonderful woman of God. She's a literary agent, and I got to corresponding with her asking, what made you become a literary agent? Well, after she graduated college in journalism, she decided to work for some high-profile places where she could write and really hone in on her own craft. And due to that experience, which she enjoyed, she actually wrote her own book, which was so amazing. I'm so proud of her and adore her. But she wrote her own book. It did very well. And due to that experience, a good friend of hers came to her and said, I too want to write a book, but I just don't know where to start. I need help. I don't know what publishers to go to. I need help with editing and marketing. So my dear friend, she decided to put her goals aside for a moment and to help her dear friend publish her book. Well, it was extremely successful because her dear friend became a #1 best-selling author. So amazing how we can stumble into things that we might have passion about later, but we have to somehow give up on the things we want at the moment and sacrifice for our future. Well, due to that experience, my dear friend realized, I really enjoy this. I liked helping her edit her book. I liked helping her market it. I really enjoyed seeking out the best publishers for her book and reading all the different genres and really researching. And I really enjoyed it when people would pick up her book and say that they were moved and inspired. And what my dear friend realized, she loved rallying behind the cause. Sometimes we have to just step back and realize it's not about us. Maybe it's about someone else. Maybe it's about encouraging them and uplifting them and help them find their dreams, because through that, we will find our own. Well, due to that experience, she became a literary agent, and now she's my literary agent. I adore her. So I started to think, who in the Bible is like this? John the Baptist. I love this. I love this story. I love his story. Why? He comes from a family that, you would expect something great from him. He is the son of Elizabeth and Zachariah. Zachariah in the Bible is a high priest, and we know high priests, they were only allowed to go into the Holy of Holies once a year. So this was really a prestigious position, and of course he would go in and he would be praying and get a word for the people as he would come out and give that word. And then Elizabeth, she is a descendant of Aaron. Aaron is a Levite. He was the first high priest. And Aaron is also the brother of Moses. So when those two get together and they have a child, you expect great things from this child. Well, they do. They have John the Baptist. And John the Baptist, he grows up and he's preaching and people are following him and he is baptizing people with water and he's doing very well for himself. And so he creates, or he gains disciples and people that are following him. And then one day, who comes along? Jesus Christ. And he baptizes Jesus Christ in the Jordan River. And we can see this in the Gospels, specifically in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verses 9 through 11, that John the Baptist baptizes Jesus Christ in the Jordan River. And so at that point, months later, the people that are following John are like, John, down the street, Jesus is taking people that are following us. Jesus is creating such a huge following. They were very upset that, we have to do something about this because people should be following you, John. And John looks at them and he says, I must decrease and he must increase. Don't you know that the entire time that I've been speaking to you, I've been prophesying about him? I've been prophesying about the Christ to come. So he even told these young men, go, follow him. He's the one that must lead you now. I must decrease. He must increase. I love this heart posture because you don't see it in many people. You don't see people stepping back. You don't see people realizing, you know what, I see a great talent in you, and I really think you should have that job. You know, think about this. I want to take it out of the context of the Bible to just get a better understanding. Think about when we go to a concert, right? And we're having such a great time and we're like, oh, I am going to see Adele, or I'm going to see Whitney Houston, and basically there's an opening act. Now the opening act is to get you revved up, is to get you dancing and getting you to have a great time because the main attraction is behind it. And that's what John the Baptist was. He wasn't the main attraction, but he knew that. And he didn't feel bad about it. He didn't argue with those men and say, you know what, we need to figure out what we're going to do with Jesus because he's taking my glory. He knew his purpose in life was to make sure that people were pointed in the direction of Christ. So that's my advice for you this week. I don't know, maybe there's someone in your workplace that you see as a raw talent, but they need encouragement. Like my good friend Vanessa, maybe you need to rally behind them. Maybe take them under your wing and train them because why? You know that they would be better at a particular job that you know is coming up. Maybe it's you're in your family and you know for certain that there's a family member that just needs some encouragement because you know that they would be good as an architect, or maybe they would be great as a professional ballet dancer. Maybe, but they just need your support. They need your guidance. Maybe you could be the forerunner for them. So that's what I would love to encourage you this week. Step back. Be observant of who maybe needs to increase. Maybe it's you that needs to decrease. Maybe you're the one that people want to rally towards. I just want to give you permission to do that, to not think of yourself all the time and not think of others. So that's my advice. Just be good to one another. Love your neighbor as you would want someone to love you. Encourage your neighbor like you would want someone to encourage you. And I'll see you next week. Be well.